Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is Sujit from Team Amy Boards. Today we are going to see how to publish your release notes to Confluence automatically using our app Automated Release Notes for Jira. So to publish your release notes to Confluence via ARN, uh, there are three major steps that are involved. The first and foremost is you need to first install ARN's Confluence Helper app on your Confluence instance and then integrate it with your ARN Jira app. This is a initial one-time step uh, for setting up your integration. The second step is you then create your release notes templates within your Confluence spaces. And third one is then in your ARN Jira app, you create some rules for automation through which you can automate publishing release notes to your Confluence. So if you are someone who has already installed ARN Confluence Helper app and integrated it with your ARN Jira app, then you can directly skip to template creation step in this video. So let us start with the first step, that is setting up integration with your Confluence instance. So for this, I will first navigate to my Confluence instance where I want to create my ARN templates and I want to publish my release notes to. On this Confluence instance, I will have to install ARN Confluence Helper app. So generally, if you are someone who is not a Jira admin, you will not have access to this particular page. So you will have to take help from your Jira admin to search this app in the Confluence Marketplace, ARN Confluence Helper app. Please note, you will not find this app in Jira Marketplace. You will find this app only in Confluence Marketplace, and from there you can find search for ARN keyword and find this app and install. This is a free app and this is just one time activity where your Jira admin will install this Confluence ARN Confluence Helper app on your Confluence instance. Once the app is installed, the next step is you now integrate your Confluence instance with your ARN Jira app. For this purpose, again, you will have to take help from your Jira admins to navigate to this ARN configuration screen. This screen is again generally available to your Jira admins from this manage your apps link under the apps menu on Jira Cloud. So once you are in the ARN configuration screen, go to the integration step. There you will find an option to add a Confluence instance. In this integration setup, what you have to do is you first name your instance with the relevant name through which you can identify this particular instance. Then you add the base URL of your Confluence instance. So if you notice, if you go to the Confluence, you will get this base URL of your Confluence instance. Then you add a username here. This particular user is someone on whose behalf ARN is going to publish pages to your Confluence. So you select such an user who generally have access to all the relevant spaces on that instance on which you wish to publish your pages. One thing you can do here is you can create a special user for this integration purpose and give that user relevant privileges in the relevant spaces and then use the username of that particular user uh, in this place. So you add the username and then you add an API token. Again, you can navigate to this link to understand how do we generate an API token from your Atlassian login. Now this API token needs to be generated from the login of same user whose username you are going to use in this username field. So you add the username, you generate API token from the login of the same user and add that API token here and submit. Once you do this, your ARN Jira app gets connected to your Confluence instance. This is the first part of integration. Once you have set up this integration within your ARN app, if you go to the help tab, you will notice under integration status, your Confluence instance will be shown as connected. Once this is done, uh, you will notice the another section here where you can generate a token for ARN Confluence Helper App. So from this link, you can create token from ARN Jira app, copy this token, then navigate to your Confluence, and from the Confluence administration link, you can find configure ARN Confluence Helper App link. Again, this link or this page in particular is generally available to your admins. So you will again have to take help from your Jira admins if you have no access to this particular screen. On this page, you will update the token that you have copied from this particular page. So you copy that token and paste it here and save. That's it. Your integration of your ARN Jira app with your Confluence is now complete, and you can create templates in your Confluence and use those templates within the rules of your ARN Jira app. So this is the first part or the first step where you set up your Confluence integration with the help of ARN Confluence Helper app. This is a one-time setup. Once you have done this, you need not to worry about it until you need to change the credentials of the user who have been used, or you want to update the API token, or you want to add some new Confluence instance. If these scenarios are not there, then this integration is done. Now we can proceed to step number two, which is creating your template. Now to create your templates, you will go to your Confluence and navigate to the required space where you want to create your template. Now, once you have arrived in your space, you can create a new Confluence page and use it as a template in your ARN rules. So, any normal Confluence page can be built as a template for your ARN release notes. Uh, so to save our time here, I have already created one template. I will explain you through that template how to build a template for your release notes in Confluence. So if you notice, I have already created this template. Those who have already used ARN in Jira, they would understand the structure uh, and these elements that I have used in the Confluence template. So if you notice, I have used these variables in square brackets to fetch a different type of metadata around my version for which I want to publish release notes for. For example, in the page title, I have used this version name variable so that my whenever I use this template to publish my release notes, let's say I'm using it to publish release notes of a version called V1, then the title of the page that will be generated will be like V1 release notes. So this version name variable will get replaced by the actual version name for which I'm going to use this template for. Then this first section I have added some metadata about my version like project name, version description. Now I want to add my, let's say I want to add again few more fields here like release date. So how do I add these variables? If you already know the syntax, you can directly type it, but if you don't remember it, you can simply use different macros, variable macro from ARN to insert these variables. So for all the different elements that ARN supports, we have added relevant macros in Confluence. There, the macros gets installed on your Confluence instance when you install that ARN Confluence Helper App. So if you go to the browse macro screen like this and search for ARN here, or even you can search for automated release notes, and you will get all the macros that are supported by ARN. So for now, we want to explore the variables macro. So I will select this macro, click on insert. I will get this pop-up. In this pop-up, I will get the list of all the different variables, default variables that ARN is currently supporting. And I can select any one of them as per my choice. So we wanted to insert a release date variable. So I will select this release date variable, copy it, and then paste it within my template body. So I can paste this variable now anywhere in my template body, within the table or directly as a normal text in my template body, or even within the page title. Now, because this release date is a date variable, I don't want to uh, show this as a normal text. I want it as a date variable that is generally used in Confluence. So in ARN, we have also published a corresponding ARN's date variable in Confluence. So if you search for date variable, you will see ARN's date variable. The It is similar to the native date variable of Confluence, but the only difference, or in fact, main difference here is that in this macro, you can use all the date variables that ARN is currently supporting. In the native date macro that Confluence support, there you don't have an option to enter a variable name. You can only select a date from the date picker. But that's why we have published this parallel corresponding date macro from ARN, where you can actually use date variables in your date macro. So I will select this release date variable here and click on insert. And if you notice, it has now inserted a date macro. Similarly, for release driver, I want the name of person who is driving this release. So for now, I will use the username variable, which is which will basically fetch the name of the person who is going to publish release notes. Now I want this variable to appear in a different way. So I want to use status macro. So Confluence has their own native status macro, but again, in that status macro, you can type data with this special character like square brackets. So you cannot use ARN variables there. So that is why what ARN has also published a corresponding status macro for you. So you can search for status macro from ARN, uh, and in this case, in the title of the status macro, you can use ARN variables. So I will select the username variable now, and I will select the color that I want for this status and insert. So you'll notice a status macro has now been inserted. Now next part is I have included a few stats. So basically I have categorized my Jira issues from this version into three categories: storage, bugs, and others. And in front of this, it will show the count of issues that in each of this section. So for this, I have used the stats macro from here. So if I have to okay, so this is the stats macro where you can provide a title, then a JQL to fetch number of issues, and it will return the count of issues that are written by the JQL. And as you usually do in the templates within your in Jira app, you can use ARN variables within your JQL. So if you notice, the JQL here is project is project ID, fixed version is equal to version ID, and type is equal to story. Because I want the count of stories, I have added this type clause here. Now, if you notice one difference here in ARN Jira app, whenever you add a JQL, it gets validated automatically. But in Helper app, because we are within the Confluence now, it doesn't know which project it needs to refer for validation of this JQL. So you have to do it manually. So for that purpose, there is a project dropdown that will appear if you have used fixed version or sprint related variables in your JQL. This project selector will appear here, and you can select any of your existing Jira projects to validate this JQL against. So I will select one project here and click on validate, and if you notice, my JQL is now validated. Now one thing to note here is that you have this is just the sample project against which you need to validate your JQL. It's not compulsory that you can use this template or in this macro only with this project. This is just for the JQL validation. Later on, when you use this template within the rules in ARN Jira app, you can use this template from any project. There is no limitation on that. So that's the thing to be remembered. So I have saved this macro now. Uh, Similarly, for bugs, I have added another stats macro. Let's say I want to add now for similar stats macro for others section. So what I will do is I will just clone the existing macro. So I can select copy option, and when I go to the relevant cell, I will just on my Windows machine I have just pressed Control plus V to paste. So this is how I have just cloned my existing stats macro, and I will just modify it now. So one simple modification I want to do here is I want to just change this type clause. Instead of bugs, I want a clause not in, and again I will select, because I have now changed my JQL, it will ask me to validate it again. I will select one project and click on validate, and that's it. My JQL is validated. I will change the title and save this. So cloning is also possible for ARN macros very easily. Uh, Third section is what's included. In this particular section, we are actually fetching data from your Jira issues. Here I have created three subsections called storage, bugs, and others. Again, similar to these three sections, I have created issue type wise sections here. And for each section, I have added a JQL section. So this is again a macro from ARN. So if you search for JQL in Confluence macros, you will see a JQL macro. Those who have used templates in ARN Jira app, they will immediately understand that this is exactly same uh, JQL section macro which you usually see within ARN Jira apps template builder. So same JQL section macro has been implemented here in Confluence. So if you notice this particular JQL section, I have already set it up. I have added a title, added some description, added a JQL. Again, this is similar to what we just saw in the stats macro. It will pull data from all the stories of a particular version. I have also added one empty message. So if no stories are fetched in a particular version, then this empty message will be printed in place of this JQL section. In the fields, I have added three fields: key, summary for release notes, and description for release notes. These two are my custom fields. I have also, and then in the layout, I have selected the sequential layout. And if you notice here in the sequential layout editor, I use variables for the three fields that we had selected: key, summary in the first line, and description in the second line. So that's how I set up the first JQL section. In the second JQL section, that is for bugs, you will notice the JQL is similar again, only the type is bug. I have selected same three fields here, but in the layout, I have selected the table layout. So whatever the three fields that I have added, they will be formed as three columns in the output table. I have also modified the column headers from this field level customization menu, where I have changed the label name from here. For the key field, I have selected display as link. In the layout, when I select table, you will notice another customization option here, from which you can customize the width of the columns. So if you notice, because the description is a multi-line field, I have allotted 60% width to the description field. Then summary is a single line field, so 25%, and key generally has smaller data issue key. So I have allotted 15% width to this column. So this table customization menu, where you can actually customize the column widths of all the columns that you have added. So this is how I have created the second JQL. Now for others, I have not yet created a JQL, so I will again, just like we clone the stats macro earlier, you can clone the JQL section macro as well. So I just copied the bugs macro and paste it. And now I will just modify it. So I'll copy this title from here, go to the JQL section and paste it here. And I will modify the uh, issue type cloths in the JQL. And I will again validate this JQL against any one of my project. So when you select any project here, please ensure that at least one version is created in that particular project. If there is a project which has no version created till now, then JQL will not get validated against that particular project. So I will validate my JQL here. Rest of the setup I I would keep same as the bug section, and I will save this JQL section. In the end, I have added few links, and then at the end, I have added a page properties macro. In the page properties macro, I have added three fields: version, release date, and release by. For version, obviously, I have used the version name variable, And for release date and release by, I will use the same macro that we had created a while ago. So again, I will clone those macros from the earlier sections to my page properties macro. So this is a native page properties macro from Confluence. This is, and within this page properties macro from Confluence, I'm using ARN's date macro or even ARN's status macro and ARN variables. Yeah, that is all about setting of the template. So if you notice, nice looking template that I have set up. Initially, there is a metadata about my version. Then there are a few stats. Then there are three JQL section to pull up relevant data from my Jira tickets to my release notes. There are a few links, and then there is a page properties macro. This is a hidden page properties macro. So once I save this page property macro will not be visible. So that's it. My template is now ready. You just have to note the name of the template when you use in your ARN rules. So this is the second step that is complete now. The third step is now automation. For that, I will navigate back to ARN Jira app, and in the ARN Jira app, you will have to create a new rule for automating publishing of your release notes to Confluence. So within your ARN rules, you can add a Confluence action. If you notice in the actions, there are two Confluence action, publish to Confluence and publish to Confluence with new editor. So the approach that we are discussing today is this latest one called publish to Confluence with new editor. So because Confluence had recently released a new Confluence editor, we have released this Confluence ARN Helper app through which you can create templates within Confluence using this new editor. And that's why when you want to use these templates from Confluence in your ARN rules, you need to create this new rule action called publish to Confluence with new editor. This publish to Confluence action that you see on the screen is a legacy rule action which was used earlier to publish release notes to Confluence using templates that were created in ARN Jira app itself. But these templates do not support the Confluence's new editor, and that's why this rule action cannot be used to publish or basically to use these templates in your ARN. Eventually, this rule action, the old rule action, and old Confluence templates in your ARN Jira app templates shall get deprecated. So for the Confluence Helper app, please remember to use this publish to Confluence with new editor rule action. Now I will add this action. You can add name for this action. The first thing is you need to select your Confluence instance, and then next section is select the source template. So this is the where you select the template that you just created. So for that you have to select your space first where you created your template. So if you go see here, my space name is test space 2. So I will select this space, and under this option select a Confluence page as a template. I will select my template that I just created. So this was my template that we just created. So I will select this template. There is another option, select a Confluence template. I will explain you about this at the end of this video. So once you select the source template, the next part is select destination page setting. So this is where you set up where you want to publish your release notes for. So you have to again select a space here. So if you notice, you can actually select a template as from one space and publish a page into another space on the same Confluence instance. Uh, in this particular example, what we are going to do is we are going to use the same space. So if you notice the page structure here, I have a parent page called release notes templates, under which we just created this template, and there is another parent page called release notes. This parent page I'm going to use to publish release notes. So what we'll do is we'll select the same space here, and then select the page type. So you can select either page or blog. We will select page. Then there are four different page actions that are available. For now, I will select create new, and in the parent page, like I mentioned, I will use this release notes page as a parent page. So I will go to choose page and select release notes as my parent page. And then I will also add label. So whenever this rule is executed and a new page is created, that page will have this label attached to it. And I will save this rule action. So now my rule action is ready, and I can now actually publish my release notes to Jira. So from here, I will select publish Confluence page. Now, because we had used version related variables in our Confluence template, the system is now asking me to input a particular Jira version for which I want to publish release notes. So I will select one version here and click on publish. Let us wait till the page is published. Yeah, so page is now published. I will navigate to logs, and you will notice a successful entry is created here. You will see the template name from Confluence. You will see the version name for which this template was run, and you will also see the real details. Here's the link of the output page that was created. Let us see the output. And if you notice under the release notes page, this new page has been created with the output. And you will notice all my variables are now replaced. Version name is replaced in my page title, and all my version related metadata is populated here. Here you can see the release date variable is replaced within the date variable from ARN, and then username variable is replaced within the status variable that we had used. These are the stats, and we had used them as link. So I can actually click on these links and go to those particular issues in my Jira. So you will see the quick stats. There were 10 stories, 5 bugs, and 2 other issues. Then this is the release notes. So this is the first JQ section for stories. For each issue, we had used 3 fields: issue key, summary, and description. And just below it, this is the second JQ section. You will notice there we had selected tabular layout here, and we had also applied column widths. So this is, I think, 15%, 25%, and 60%. So the column widths are maintained as per our configuration. And this is the third JQL section output. There were few links, and you will notice this label is also attached to this output page. If you go to edit this page, you will notice the edit v2. That means this page is created in Confluence new editor. And at the end, you will also notice this page properties macro, where we had used few variables and date macro and status macro that has been duly filled. Now I will again update this. Now, because I had used this page properties macro within my template, in the title page, I had used page properties report macro. And you will notice this report macro has already worked, and it has pulled data from my page properties macro, and here you can see date has been pulled as a date macro, and then username has been pulled as status macro. So whenever a new child page is created using this template under this release notes page, this page properties report macro will give me an ready-made index of all my release notes that are published under this title page. So that's how you can automate uh, publishing your release notes to Confluence via AR. There are few more points that I want to quickly touch upon. So if you go back to your rule action, you will see there are few more page actions that are available, like create new or update if exist. So Confluence basically do not allow you to create two pages with same name within the same space. So if you are not sure whether a page with same name already exists on your space, and then you can select this action. If you select this action, what it will do is the system will first search for page with the same name. If it already exists, then it will update that existing page. If the system do not found a page with same name, then it will create a new page. So this action can be used in a scenario where are expected to publish release notes for same version multiple times during the particular period of that particular release. So let's say you create some draft release notes at the start of your release, and then at the end of the release, you want to update the same release notes with few updated list of issues. So you can use this action where your earlier created release notes will get replaced by the latest version of it with updated list of issues. So this is second page action. Then there are two more page action: append to existing page and prepend to existing page. So these actions can be used for a simple use case where you want to maintain a single release notes page for all your releases. So I will show you this example that we ourselves maintain for our app. So you will now see this page called DC app running release notes. And you will notice a single page maintains release notes for all the versions of ARN app for DC for our DC customers. So after every release, say this page is gets updated via ARN, and a new release notes for latest version are appended at the beginning of this page using this append to existing page action. So you will notice this is the latest version that we had released last month. Whenever we will publish a release for our next release on DC app, it will get published above this particular version 6.8. So this is how you can use append or prepend action to publish release notes for multiple versions on a single Confluence page. That is about this this page access. And then the last point that I want to discuss here is this option called select a Confluence template. So when we created this particular template, we created a normal Confluence page and used different ARN variables and ARN macros to convert it into a ARN template. uh, Confluence also have their own native templates uh, feature, and generally it is available within your space settings. You will notice there is a templates link where you can create few Confluence templates. There is also an option to create global templates in Confluence, which are available across all templates, across all uh, Confluence spaces on your instance. You can also use these templates in your ARN rule action using this option called select a Confluence template. The only issue here is whenever you create templates from this sorry Yeah. So whenever you create templates from this menu in your Confluence, from Confluence APIs, there are few limitations due to which the content that is published via ARN generally do not retain certain elements, and that is why there are many limitations on how you can customize your templates using this option. So the recommended way from our side will be to use a normal Confluence page as your template instead of actually using the native templates feature in the Confluence. So though we have provided this option, but the recommended way will always be select using a normal Confluence page as your template. So I think that is all about this video. As you can see, there were three steps that we covered. Step was a one-time setup, installation of your helper app, and then integrating it with your ARN Jira app. Next step was creating uh, your Confluence template, and then third step was setting up a rule uh, in your ARN Jira app, and when you trigger that rule, the your release notes are published to your Confluence. Now, if you notice, you must already know there are multiple automated triggers available with you. So, using this trigger, you can even create many different types of reports in your Confluence and use those uh, templates in your rule action to automate publishing of those reports over the course of your development cycle of a particular version or a sprint. So there are many uh, ways through which you can use your Confluence integration to generate release notes and reports via AR. So that's it about this video. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.